Hey there, fellow treasure hunters and Oak Island fanatics. Welcome back to another deep dive into the curse of Oak Island, where every shovel of dirt could be a step closer to rewriting history. Today we're talking about Season 12, Episode 19, ominously and excitingly titled, Barreling Forward. And let me tell you, if you thought things were heating up before, this episode cranks the temperature to full boil. Now I want you to imagine this. You're standing on a site that's puzzled the greatest minds and most determined explorers for over 2 centuries. You're surrounded by centuries-old artifacts, buried tunnels, cryptic symbols, and you're lowering a massive steel shaft into the heart of what might be the most legendary mystery in North America. Sounds like a scene from an adventure movie, right? But it's not fiction. It's happening right now on Oak Island. This week's episode doesn't just continue the story. It barrels forward with one of the most aggressive, high-stakes operations we've ever seen on the show. The Legina brothers and their tenacious team are digging through solid ground, deeper and bolder than ever before, installing a massive steel shaft in the money pit area. This isn't just another exploratory borehole, friends. This is a full-on charge into the unknown. A strategic, carefully calculated gamble to uncover the truth behind one of the world's greatest unsolved mysteries. And what they find? Oh, it's not just another piece of wood or rusty nail. According to the teaser, the team uncovers an object embedded deep within the earth that immediately stops them in their tracks. "Check this out," someone says, and the camera pans over a massive artifact. We're not talking about something casual. The team is visibly stunned. "Do you think somebody carved that into the wood?" one of them asks, while another stares in disbelief. "That's not natural." No, it's not. And that's what makes it so thrilling. Now let's talk about the jaw-dropping carbon date, because this is the kind of stuff that sends chills down the spine. In the midst of the dig, they retrieve an object that dates between 1725 and 1764. That's pre-Searcher era. That's pre-1795 discovery. That's potentially linked to the original depositors. The implications are huge. This isn't just about finding something old. It's about finding something placed there on purpose, long before anyone should have had reason to be digging on that island. And let's not ignore the dramatic undertone here. We're seeing the team physically and metaphorically lower themselves into Oak Island's deepest secrets. The shaft they're working with isn't just a tool. It's a symbol of how far they're willing to go. It's steel versus mystery, technology versus legend, men versus time. And as they inch further into the depths, we're inching closer to a truth that's evaded us for more than 200 years. But wait, there's more. Artifacts aren't just popping up in the money pit area. We're also seeing intriguing finds from surrounding zones, including the swamp and Smith's Cove. And with every pottery shard, every carved stake, every unexplained anomaly, the theory web gets thicker. One minute it's tied to the British military. The next it's linked to Sir William Phipps and the lost Spanish treasure. Episode 19 doesn't give us one linear storyline. It opens the floodgates to several, and that brings us to the barrel theory. Could this mysterious object unearthed from the new shaft actually be part of a buried barrel? Possibly used to transport treasure or store valuable clues? We've seen similar items before. Barrel staves, plugs, and hoops, but never with this level of clarity or context. The way the team reacts tells us everything. This find matters. If it truly is from the 1700s, it may confirm theories that Oak Island wasn't just randomly dug up. It was engineered, possibly by experts using very intentional, sophisticated methods. Now here's the kicker. As the team digs deeper into RP2 and this newly installed shaft, we might be looking at the intersection point, the literal and figurative crossroads of all the tunnel systems, booby traps, and secret chambers. The place where it all comes together. That's what makes barreling forward feel different. There's a momentum here, a sense that we're not just exploring anymore. We're closing in. And let me just say, if they find that elusive treasure vault, it's game over for the skeptics. We're talking history books rewritten, legends confirmed, and a giant told-you-so moment for Rick and Marty Legina. But even if they don't pull up a gold bar or jeweled cross in this exact episode, the evidence they're stacking up is compelling. Carbon dating that aligns with early 18th century maritime movements, carvings in wood that suggest intentional activity, and artifacts that appear to predate the money pit's official discovery. So, what does all of this mean, my friends? It means we are possibly this close to the big reveal. The culmination of decades of digging, dreaming, and data. And maybe, just maybe, we'll finally answer the question that's haunted Oak Island since 1795. Is there really treasure buried there? Or is the real treasure the story we uncover while looking for it? And speaking of barrels, Let's not gloss over the symbolism behind that episode title, Barreling Forward. It's not just a nod to the literal steel barrel shaft being drilled into the money pit. It represents the relentless momentum of this quest. The Oak Island team isn't hesitating anymore. They're done scratching the surface. They are committed, locked in, and charging headfirst toward what could be the final chapter of this mystery. That phrase captures everything: speed, intensity, focus, and the feeling that there's no turning back. One thing that's really compelling in this episode is how the team reacts emotionally. You can see it on their faces when that shaft drops deeper and deeper. The anticipation is almost unbearable. There's no faking this level of excitement and nervous energy. These aren't actors playing out a script. These are real people who've invested their time, money, and lives into finding something they believe is truly down there. And now it feels like the ground itself is beginning to give up its secrets. We also get these awesome reaction shots. Wow, that's big. Oh my gosh, this is strange. And that's not natural. Now, we've heard the team say those kinds of things before, sure. But something feels different this time. Their reactions are more visceral, more urgent. The object pulled from the shaft clearly doesn't match anything they've found before. And when someone asks if it looks like someone carved into the wood, that right there is a red flag in the best way. Because you know what that means? Human involvement. Every time that possibility comes up, the story of Oak Island deepens. Because if someone carved that wood and placed it that deep underground, it wasn't random. It was planned, it was hidden, and it was likely meant to stay that way. That's what keeps fans coming back week after week. The layers of secrecy, engineering, and maybe even deception are what make Oak Island more than just a dig site. It's a puzzle that's been begging to be solved for centuries. But let's not forget, mystery breeds theories. Some fans are now speculating that what was found could be part of a vault lining, a wooden structure deliberately carved and reinforced to hide treasure or sacred documents. Others think it could be part of a booby trap system, the kind that would release water or collapse tunnels if someone got too close. These aren't wild guesses. They're rooted in historical precedent and backed by evidence found over 12 seasons. Episode 19 fuels those fires like never before. And the carbon dating, we have to talk about that again, because it is the kind of discovery that could tip the scales. Dating the material to 1725 to 1764 places it squarely in the era of privateers, secret societies, and royal treasure transports. If this piece of wood really is that old, and placed there intentionally, it means Oak Island wasn't just a place where people stumbled around digging holes. It was a carefully chosen, highly organized operation. Who were they? Templars? British military? Early explorers? We don't know yet, but we're getting closer. The show also does a brilliant job building tension between the scientific data and the lore. Rick Lagina has always been the emotional heart of the team, the man driven by a childhood dream and the belief that there is something real beneath their feet. Marty is the pragmatic one, always asking, what does the science say? And in this episode, both of them seem equally hyped. That's a big deal, because when the data starts lining up with the legends, that's when the impossible starts to feel probable. And just when you think the episode is going to wrap up, we get those tantalizing cliffhanger moments. New anomalies are detected. New scans show even deeper voids, and someone on the team says it best. This could be it. I don't know about you, but I believe them. There's a momentum now that feels undeniable. The curse might still be hanging in the air, but so is something else. Hope. So if you're as obsessed with this hunt as I am, this episode is your adrenaline shot. It's full of mystery, science, and that raw human drive to discover the truth, whatever it may be. Whether we end up with gold, manuscripts, religious relics, or something no one even imagined, Barreling Forward reminds us why we all here in the first place. Because Oak Island is more than just a story. It's a living, breathing legend. And we're lucky enough to witness the moment it might finally be cracked wide open.